Jimmy Carter, the rise, the fall, the Iran crisis, economic chaos, and Jimmy Carter's fight for legacy. What happens when a humble peanut farmer from Georgia takes on Washington, D.C., armed with little more than a promise to never lie to you? How does a man of deep faith and relentless optimism navigate the treacherous waters of economic chaos, political gridlock, and an international crisis that held the world in suspense? And why, despite the bruises and blows of a turbulent presidency, is Jimmy Carter remembered not as a failure, but as a global hero? Buckle up, history buffs and lovers of extraordinary stories. This is the tale of Jimmy Carter's rollercoaster presidency and his unparalleled second act. From the Iran hostage crisis to Habitat for Humanity, we'll uncover the highs, the lows, and the legacy of one of America's most fascinating leaders. Spoiler alert, this story is about more than just peanuts. The year was 1976. America, reeling from the Watergate scandal and Gerald Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon, was in desperate need of a moral compass. Enter Jimmy Carter, a peanut farmer turned governor from Plains, Georgia, with a toothy grin, a southern drawl, and a promise that became his campaign mantra: "I'll never lie to you." Carter wasn't just running against Ford, he was running against everything Washington had become. His outsider status was both his sword and shield, wielded expertly to cut through the cynicism of the post-Nixon era. Riding a wave of optimism and his unwavering pledge to restore honesty to government, Carter narrowly clinched victory. On January 20, 1977, he took the oath of office as the 39th President of the United States. In true outsider fashion, Carter ditched the traditional limo ride to his inauguration and walked down Pennsylvania Avenue, waving to the crowd like a friendly neighbor bringing over a casserole. America thought it had found its anti-politician hero. What could possibly go wrong? By 1979, Carter's presidency was tested like no other. The Shah of Iran, a U.S. ally, had been overthrown, replaced by the Ayatollah Khomeini and a fervent Islamic revolutionary government. When Carter allowed the ailing Shah to enter the U.S. for medical treatment, Iranian militants stormed the U.S. embassy in Tehran, taking 52 Americans hostage. Carter's decision to launch a daring rescue mission, Operation Eagle Claw, was an all-in gamble. But it ended in calamity. Helicopters malfunctioned in the desert, a collision resulted in a fiery wreck, and 8 brave servicemen lost their lives. Carter took full responsibility, his grief palpable as he addressed the nation. For 444 agonizing days, the hostages remained in captivity, and Carter's presidency was effectively held hostage along with them. The crisis dominated headlines, overshadowing everything else his administration tried to achieve. As if a hostage crisis weren't enough, the economy decided to implode. Inflation soared past 10%, unemployment climbed, and gas lines stretched for miles. For many Americans, Carter's presidency felt like an unending series of punches to the gut. In July 1979, Carter delivered his infamous malaise speech, though he never actually used the word. In it, he diagnosed the nation with a crisis of confidence. While intended as a rallying cry, it sounded more like a pep talk from a coach who'd already conceded the game. The public's confidence in Carter continued to erode. Carter's outsider status, which had won him the presidency, turned out to be a double-edged sword. He didn't play Washington's backslapping, deal-making game, and it showed. His relationship with Congress, Democrats and Republicans alike, was frosty at best. Major legislation stalled, and Carter often found himself isolated, fighting battles on all fronts with few allies to call upon. By 1980, Carter's presidency resembled a sinking ship in choppy waters. Enter Ronald Reagan, charismatic, polished, and offering a sunny vision of America's future. Reagan's optimism stood in stark contrast to Carter's beleaguered image. On Election Day, Reagan trounced Carter in a landslide. Adding insult to injury, the Iranian hostages were released mere minutes after Reagan's inauguration, a final bitter twist of the knife. Most ex-presidents fade into obscurity, content with memoir writing and the occasional ribbon cutting. Not Jimmy Carter. The day he left office, Carter began what would become one of the most remarkable post-presidencies in American history. Through the Carter Center, he tackled global problems with the fervor of a man on a mission. Carter took on the guinea worm, a parasitic disease that plagued millions in Africa and Asia. By 2021, thanks to the Carter Center's efforts, cases had dwindled to just a handful, a near miraculous feat. Carter became the world's referee, ensuring free and fair elections in countries from Nicaragua to Zimbabwe. His calm demeanor and integrity made him a trusted figure in volatile political landscapes. And then there were the houses. Lots of them. Carter and his wife Rosalind donned tool belts and picked up hammers, helping build homes for the poor with Habitat for Humanity. Even into his 90s, Carter could be found on construction sites, sweating alongside volunteers. Carter's presidency may have been marked by challenges and controversies, but his post-presidency was a masterclass in humility, service, and resilience. He showed the world that greatness isn't measured solely by success in office but by the impact you leave behind. A commitment to honesty and morality, unparalleled dedication to humanitarian causes, a lack of political savvy in navigating Washington's power dynamics, struggles to communicate optimism during challenging times. Carter often reflected on the Iran hostage crisis, wishing he could have resolved it sooner, yet he never wavered in taking responsibility for his decisions. Jimmy Carter's story is one of a man who refused to be defined by setbacks, from the peanut fields of Georgia to the corridors of power, and back to building homes for the less fortunate. Carter's life is a testament to perseverance and the enduring power of doing good. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life of Jimmy Carter, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. There's plenty more where this came from. Stay tuned for more presidential sagas filled with twists, triumphs, and a dash of intrigue.